This is the Cook and Eat Show, and this episode is called What's in My Fridge. This is where I put together snacks and meals from stuff around my kitchen. Sometimes there's a plan. Most times I'm just making it up as I go. Let's see what happens. I felt like ordering Chinese food, and then I sat there trying to think of what I was going to order. And then I was like, Nyah, just make it yourself. Everything I thought to order, I can make myself. So I figure I'm gonna make Singapore noodles. I was introduced to Singapore noodles from my mom. Best thing ever. If that's just the one thing that I'm like, you need to get an award for this, it's introducing me to Singapore noodles. It's really simple to make, at least that's what I thought when I started out. And I found a recipe that'll be linked below. Let's see how this thing is gonna turn out. So we've got your carrots, bell peppers, shallots, cabbage, and eggs. And of course, the noodles. These are rice noodles and require a little bit of soaking before we're actually going to cook them. Let's see what else we need. The recipe calls for a vegetable oil, but any cooking oil will do. This time around, I was taking shortcuts and combining the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients separately. Let's get cooking. So, in the recipe, it's asking me to julienne the veggies that I'm adding to the Singapore noodles. Essentially, take my sweet time cutting carrots and cabbage and bell peppers into pretty thin, short slices. I feel as though I use this method of cutting up my vegetables enough to justify seeking out some sort of kitchen appliance that can more quickly do this for me. I'm sure there's something out there that hopefully doesn't cost an arm and a leg that would help me with slicing up my veggies into these shapes that I need them to be easily. But if I do say so, that's not that bad. Bell peppers are definitely not as hard to slice up as carrots. Honestly, once you get a rhythm going, it's pretty simple, kind of soothing. With the shallots, I wasn't trying to be too precise. I honestly didn't care if they were sliced very well or not, as long as the slices were pretty consistent in size and thin. When it came to the cabbage, I had the great idea of using this cheese grater on the cabbage. Bear with me. The thought is I'll cut slices off of the cabbage, and just like a block of cheese, I can grate it, and it will just produce really awesome, evenly sliced pieces of cabbage. Didn't work. So just simply slicing it carefully and thinly, honestly, that worked just fine. Let's get cooking. First up is the shrimp. Once these have had a chance to sizzle a bit, I added in the veggies. One thing about cooking with this amount of food is sometimes you kind of got to get your hands dirty. It's just more effective to get my hands in there and toss the food around, making sure that all of it is getting coated with oil so that it's all cooking pretty evenly. Once the noodles had a chance to soak, I was able to add those in. Touching them, I kind of felt as though they were still a little too hard, but because I really haven't used those noodles before, I assumed maybe they'll just cook down. And they did not. I ended up having to add quite a bit more water than I anticipated to get them to cook correctly. But eventually they did soften up. But it smells good and it looks good, so we are going to give this a taste. I would definitely remake this again and maybe take a little bit more time with the noodles, but overall, I like it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Thanks for watching. Till next time, keep eating.